Happy New Year, Squares. Welcome back to the channel. I am Jay. You know, a new year means new opportunity, a new chance to play new games, to check out new things. There ain't nothing I like better than hopping over to the Nintendo Switch eShop. I'm bringing you 10 more games you need to be checking out, and we're starting now.
Hey, you ever seen him? Yeah, Gotham Zoo. With all the other flying animals.
Batman is one of my favorite characters in pop culture, and we have been so lucky to get so many incredible games featuring the Capded Crusader throughout the years. Check out the card up above if you want to see his visual evolution throughout the years. But one of my favorites is the Batman Telltale series from Telltale Games. I know the Telltale games aren't for everybody, and I respect that, but if you enjoy kind of the mythos behind Batman and the storytelling behind who the Batman is, and that delineation between who Bruce Wayne is and who Batman is, the Telltale games are something you need to check out. It plays a little fast and loose with some of the established lore of who the Batman is, but the stuff that it adds to their particular subset of the Batman mythos is amazing. The gameplay is really fun. Graphically, it is stunning. The writing is wonderful, and it is just a magnificent story to lose yourself in and to have a lot of fun with. One of the things I really like about the Switch edition of both this one and its sequel, we'll talk about that one in a future video, is that you can play it in black and white. And it offers you the opportunity to just lose yourself in a really deep atmospheric setting of playing kind of almost a noir version of Batman. Now heads up, this is an M-rated game, so if you're going to be looking for something that's going to be friendly for kids, this isn't the one you need to find. It's very brutal, very bloody, and there's some harsh language here as well, and some sexual themes, so be aware of that. But if you are just looking for a fantastic Batman story that you can enjoy as an adult, this one is worth every penny. It's $16.99 for the Shadows Edition, and I strongly suggest you get that one so you can play this in black and white and just lose yourself in the world of the Batman.
I think a lot of us love the 1980s, and one of our favorite things is Stranger Things. This is not a Stranger Things game, but it is clearly inspired by it.
When so much of the pop culture that we follow today relies so heavily on influences from the 1980s, whether it's just classic IP that's coming back or a particular style of visuals with that vaporwave aesthetic, we owe a lot to that decade. And Unusual Findings, a brand new adventure game, is just so perfectly 1980s that I can't help but fall in love with it. First off, it's a point-and-click adventure. It's set up kind of like Stranger Things. It feels very much like it's inspired by that, and it just plays so brilliantly well. The characters are incredibly likable. The graphics are fantastic. There's some amazing music in this game, and the way it plays is just memorable and enjoyable. If you have any kind of love or any kind of affinity for classic point-and-click adventures from the 80s like The Secret of Monkey Island or Loom or Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Unusual Findings is right up your alley. Unusual Findings is normally $19.99, and I have had zero regrets playing this one, and I want to thank developer ES Digital Games for providing a review code for this one, because this game is amazing.
Or maybe you're in the mood for a sports game and you want to play a little bit of baseball. I could tell you to check out MLB The Show on the Switch, but no, we're going to switch things up a little bit. We're not going with a tried and true game that I always recommend. We're going with something a little bit different. Something super mega.
All right, this one was suggested to me by Scott and Jen from Retro Rivals. This is Super Mega Baseball 3. Now, this is one of the rare sports games on the Nintendo Switch, and this is one that they've told me that I should be trying, and a lot of other people have told me I should be trying for a while now. So when it went on sale like it is right now, I decided to pull the trigger on it. Super Mega Baseball 3 is fantastic. First off, the character designs are amazing. The ballparks are wonderful. The gameplay is simple and fast and fun. It is equal parts sim and arcade action. Like, there's full seasons and full pennant chases and stuff like that you can do in here, but you're also able to just hop in and do like a 3-inning exhibition game. And the challenge is fantastic. Every team has different strengths and weaknesses. All the teams are wonderful. Like, you can play as the Platypi or the Ravens or the Moose. Like, nothing in here takes itself terribly seriously. And that's reflected in both the character designs, the character names, and the ballpark designs. It's a really wonderful baseball game. And if you enjoy sports games, I really think this is worth picking up. This one's normally $44.99, so it is a bit of an investment. But right now, it's on sale for $13.49. Now, that's only through January 2nd, so you're going to have to pull the trigger on it pretty quick. but I do think that this is something where if you pick it up, you will enjoy it. Maybe not picking it up at full price, maybe slapping it on your wish list and just keeping an eye on it if it goes on sale, because at $13.49, it is worth every penny.
Now, while Mighty Number 9 might not have been the home run that a lot of us were hoping for, this one here, featuring the characters from that game, is pretty awesome because it crosses over with another one of my favorite run-and-gun platformers, Azure Striker Gunvolt.
I love a good redemption story, and I'm telling you right now, Mighty Gunvolt Burst is a redemption story for Mighty Number 9. I wanted nothing more than for Mighty Number 9 to be a fantastic game, and it just wasn't. It fell flat on its face. But Mighty Gunvolt Burst takes the characters and kind of that aesthetic of Mighty Number 9, slaps it together with Azure Striker Gunvolt, and puts it into an 8-bit perspective. And it just works. You can play as either Gunvolt or as Mighty, and as you go through the game, you're going to find different items that you're able to acquire, and you have a certain number of points you're able to apply to your character on every level, where you're going to have different tweaks you can do to each type of unlockable and each type of weapon that you get. It's a really clever presentation style, and it's really difficult. Like, it has so much style to it, and so much more to it than what the original Mighty Number 9 release did, that I am so happy that this game exists. And even better, it's dirt cheap. This is normally $9.99, but right now it's on sale for $3.99 through the 15th of January 2023. I strongly suggest you pick this one up. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I think it is a very, very excellent throwback to classic NES platformers.
How about a follow-up to a classic 16-bit game, something that's experiencing a bit of a renaissance?
You know, I never really played the original ActRaiser when it first released on the Super Nintendo. It just didn't seem interesting to me. I didn't really understand how you could slap together city building and 2D platforming and make it a compelling game. But eventually I did play it and I realized how brilliant it was. And now getting this reimagination of the franchise on modern consoles, specifically on the Switch, is magnificent. The game plays fantastically well. The 2D platforming is right there. It has a good challenge to it, but there's enough there where you're going to be able to figure out the patterns and how to get through the levels. And then, of course, when you get to the overworld map, you're going to be city planning and telling your followers where they need to build and what they need to do. The music is fantastic. The graphics are really good. It does feel like it's a little bit choppy in places when there's a lot of stuff going on screen, so be aware of that. But I do think the game itself is fantastic and a lot of fun to play. This is a faithful reinterpretation of the ActRaiser franchise, and I hope this leads to more games down the road in this series. This is a $29.99 game, and I love that Square took a shot on this and re-released it for today's gamers. Absolutely worth checking out. Definitely a lot of fun. Love ActRaiser Renaissance.
Or maybe you're looking for a bit of a pain-in-the-ass platformer. Now, I say that, and I understand that that might be not the best way to sell it, but I'm telling you right now, this is one of my favorite games. Love it on the PC, love it on the Xbox. It's now on the Switch.
It takes a lot for me to repurchase a game when I already own it, and Spelunky is something that I've had on Steam for years. And when it got announced for the Nintendo Switch, I immediately knew I wanted to get it because this is such a great game. I wanted to have it portably and I wanted to have it on my Switch. And I have zero regrets in buying this again because it is just such a wonderful roguelike platformer that pulls no punches in its difficulty levels. It can be frustrating at times with how hard this game is, but it's not a frustration where you want to stop playing. It's the type of game that makes you want to keep coming back to do another run, to try a level one more time, to try a different technique, or to find a particular item that is going to make you explore a little bit further. The game has numerous traps, tons of different unlockables, different characters you're able to play as, different items you're able to acquire to make your traversal through the different levels that much more easy in many cases, but sometimes more difficult. And it's just a wonderful experience. This one goes on sale pretty regularly, but normally it is a $9.99 game, and if you have not played this one, I don't think you'll regret picking it up.
You guys know I love the GameCube, and this is one of my favorite games. Got a remaster on the Switch. Let's check out Sphinx.
Now, I've talked about my love of Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy numerous times in the past when I'm referring to the GameCube release. It's one of my favorite games on that console, and I was thrilled when I found out that this is going to get an HD remaster and reskin for modern consoles, and it's wonderful. This is so true to the original release, and it plays so well that I'm falling in love with it all over again. This is a fantastic third-person action platformer with lots of fun puzzle solving that you're going to have to do, some fantastic characterizations, wonderful combat, and just a really excellent game from top to bottom. You're going to primarily be playing as Sphinx, but every once in a while you're going to be able to switch over to the Cursed Mummy as well when you don't need to be worrying about combat. He's primarily going to be the way you're going to solve most of the puzzles in the game, but I don't want to spoil too much of it just because of how clever and how creative this game is. Now, by today's aesthetics, it is a little bit clunky in some regards, but I think if you have a love of classic 3D action platformer, Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy is right up your alley, and I think you're going to fall head over heels in love with it just like I have once again. This is a $29.99 game, but I don't have any regrets picking it up because I think it is just magnificent, and it is absolutely worth playing if you are a fan of 6th generation gaming.
This one's awesome just because we never got this game back in the 80s when the NES was a big deal. This is a classic IP based on one of my favorite things from when I was a kid.
The fact that we never got a Garbage Pail Kids game when I was a kid seems almost criminal, but the geniuses at I Am 8-Bit and just the mad scientists behind this game have released Garbage Pail Kids, Mad Mike, and the Quest for Stale Gum, and it's so ridiculous and so wonderful. First off, there's an entire, created lore behind this game of finding it, discovering the code, finding the game hidden, kind of like it was discarded like E.T. was when it flopped. But this, in all of those videos and all of that lore is part of this game. You're able to watch all of that. There's hidden movies on here that you're able to find. But the real, just amazing part of this game is how wonderful of an NES game that they've created. This is true to NES development. It feels like it was a lost NES game, and that is exactly what they were going for. You're able to play as 4 of the different Garbage Pail Kids. You go through these just vast levels with challenging combat and fun exploration and some loving throwbacks to those classic collectible trading cards, the Garbage Pail Kids. I love this game. It is ridiculous and fantastic. It sells for $9.99, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed if you pick this one up. It is a loving throwback to the 1980s, and if you love the Garbage Pail Kids, you owe it to yourself to buy this one.
Looking for some fun multiplayer and single-player platform action? Check out this one.
Ready to roll!
I know I've talked about this game in the past on other videos, but I've never actually featured this on an eShop pickups before, and that seems kind of criminal to me because Mercenary Kings Reloaded, one of my favorite games on the Switch, one of the best multiplayer games out there. I have been told numerous times by Scott and Jen from Retro Rivals how much they love this game and that they're thankful that I suggested it to them because it is magnificent. This is the best multiplayer experience that I have had in years. I'm only playing single player here just because I'm the only one recording footage, but if you enjoy multiplayer run and gun and you just have a love of couch co-op, Mercenary Kings Reloaded Edition is for you. This was developed by Tribute, who is one of my absolute favorite developers. They did one of my favorite games, Flint Hook, and they were half of the team developing TMNT Shredder's Revenge that released this year. That was my game of the year. I kind of subscribe to anything they do. If they put out a game, I'm giving it a shot, and Mercenary Kings will not disappoint you. Mercenary Kings sells for $19.99, and it is worth every single penny. One of my favorite games on the Switch.
This one here, it really surprised me. I saw a preview for this one and I thought, you know what? That looks like something straight out of Zelda the Wind Waker. Let's take a look at this one. Fantastic, fantastic 3D action game.
Huge thank you to Thunderful for the review code for this game. This is Wavetale, and this just feels like 100% love letter to kind of the presentation style of Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Now, it doesn't have that wide open stance and that kind of endless sailing that the original release of Wind Waker did. Instead, you play as Sigrid, a character who is able to walk on the water, and you have to go to the various islands around your world and collect the sparks to drive back the mist. This game is just, it's kind of magical. I saw the video for this one, and I was just instantly enamored with the presentation style of this game. And I really wanted to play it, and I am so thankful that I have spent as much time with it as I have. The game has a lovely presentation style, a heartfelt story, and just a wonderful aesthetic and just fantastic gameplay that I have found myself coming back to it time and time again. This game normally comes in at $30, but so far to me it has been worth every single penny. The combat is fun, the gameplay is fun, the story is wonderful, and all the characters that I have met so far are memorable and fantastic to be around. Wavetale is normally $29.99 and is a great game to add to your digital collection. Although I do hope we one day get a physical of this one because I would love to see the extras that would come with it.
Hey, huge shout out to the guys at Gaming Off the Grid. Thank you all so much for shouting me out on your yearly recap. Being the channel of the year is a huge honor. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. By the time anyone sees this, I will probably be at 4,000 subscribers, and they have been a huge impact on the success of the channel this year. Thank you guys so much. All right, my friends, there you got it. 10 games on the Switch eShop I think you guys should be checking out this year. Let me know what you guys think about them, and let me know in the comments games I should be checking out that you love on the Switch eShop that I have not had a chance to check out yet. If you enjoyed this one, I do this video at the start of every month. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with what I got going on. And until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.